Okay, all right, thank you.
Wait a minute, it says preparing. Okay.
All right, so we are live.
Hold on, it's saying preparing, setting up meeting. Okay, it says done. So we are live.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Wait a
Okay.
minute, preparing. Okay.
All right. Okay, the meeting will now come to order. Welcome to the October 27th, 2020 meeting of the Durham County Board of Equalization and Review. My name is David Smith and I am the chair of the board. I would like to start by acknowledging that we are conducting this meeting using a remote electronic platform as permitted by Session Law 2020-3. The Board of Equalization and Review is a quasi-judicial body that is governed by the North Carolina General Statutes. The board conducts evidentiary hearings on appeals from appraised real and personal property tax valuation. Today's meeting will proceed much like an in-person meeting of the Board of Equalization and Review. On the screen, you will see the members of the Board of Equalization and Review. Additionally, tax staff and representatives from the county's attorney's office may be present in the remote meeting. Appellants and their witnesses, if any, were required to register in advance and are also attending the remote meeting. When a case is called for its hearing, speakers will be prompted within the remote platform so their video can be seen. The chair will swear in applicants and witnesses at the beginning of each case. Staff will present each case and applicants will then provide their evidence. Control of the presentation and screen sharing will remain with the tax staff. Today's meeting is being broadcast live on the county's
Good
YouTube
morning. Can
channel,
everyone hear me?
and a link on this broadcast is on the website for the Board of Equalization and Review. Before we begin the evidentiary hearings on today's agenda, I would like to provide some important information about the steps taken to ensure that each party's due process rights are protected as we proceed in this remote platform. Each applicant on today's agenda was notified that this meeting would be conducted using a remote electronic platform. During registration, every applicant on today's agenda consented to the board conducting the evidentiary hearing using this remote platform. We will also confirm today at the start of each evidentiary hearing that the participants in the evidentiary hearing consent to the matter proceeding in this remote platform. If there's any objection to a matter proceeding in this remote platform, the case will be continued. Notice of today's meeting was provided by publishing notice in the newspaper and by mail to the applicant. The newspaper notices for today's meeting contained information on how the public can access the remote meeting as the meeting occurs. These notices also contain information about the registration requirement for the meeting, along with information about how to register. All individuals participating in today's evidentiary hearings were also required to submit a copy of any presentation, document, exhibit, or other material that they wish to submit at the evidentiary hearing prior to today's meeting. No new documents will be submitted during today's meeting. All decisions of this board are subject to appeal to the North Carolina Property Tax Commission. All right, well, let's proceed with the first cases. Let's see, who will be presenting these? Is Jamin? I guess we could just go along with the consent agenda without anybody presenting it. We have cases 1 through 14 on the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve these as recommended by the staff?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Wendell Bullock.
Second, Jeanette Hussey.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We also have 2 where there was no response. That's numbers 15 and 16 on the consent agenda. Do I have a motion regarding items 15 and 16?
I make a motion, we accept those 2 items.
Do I have a second?
Second, Wendell.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, it passes. All right, let's move on to item number 18. Jesse Purdy, are you here?
Yes, I am, Mr. Smith. How are you doing this morning?
I'm fine, thank you. Let me get you sworn in, please.
Okay.
You will raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
State your name and position, please.
Jesse Purdy, manager, business personal property, compliance division, Durham County Tax Office.
Okay, all right. What have you got for us on this first one?
I have an appeal, a request to waiver the penalties from FedEx Ground Package System, Inc. The amount of the penalty appeal is $34,739.57. These penalties are the result of an audit discovery that was completed and mailed on February the 3rd, 2020. And the taxpayer submitted an appeal on September 18th, 2020.
What tax years was this for?
Tax year is for 2000, it's 2 years, 2019 and 2015. The other years were in compliance, but these years were not, according to the audit discovery.
And so there were items in there that were not listed that should have been listed.
That is correct, unlisted property.
Okay. All right. Is there anybody?
Underreported. It could either be one or the other. So the staff recommends that the total penalty of $34,739.57 remain on the tax receipts according to North Carolina General Statute 105-312H.
Okay. All right. Is anybody here from Federal Express? Okay. Then I will entertain a motion regarding item 18.
I'll
Move
move
to-
to total county value.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next one. This is Hewlett Packard. All right. Ms. Purdy, what have you got for us on that one?
Hewlett Packard. Hewlett Packard is appealing the valuation that they consider as real estate. We taxed it as personal property. They consider it as real estate. After we reviewed the appeal of and it was construction costs listed as leasehold improvements, we agreed that the taxpayer costs were related to real estate and not personal property. Therefore, we believe that an adjustment needs to be made to correct the tax bill for 2019. You're probably wondering why we're bringing this case to you. We're bringing this case to the board because of a delay of information from the taxpayer, which resulted in an assessor's decision not to grant the reduction. Later on, they submitted the information and we reviewed it and accepted the information. Therefore, we're asking the board to accept our recommendation to reduce the value to $348,272 from $4.4 million.
So this is not in dispute. You and the taxpayer agree?
We both agree, yes.
Okay. All right. Is anybody here from Hewlett Packard that wants to say anything? Okay. All right. Then I will hear a motion on number 19, Hewlett Packard.
I make a motion, we accept.
Have a second?
Value.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Let's move on to the next one. Kendra Scott.
Kendra Scott Design Inc. Kendra Scott filed an appeal to oppose the audit discovery. And the appeal was late. So we asked that you, they're asking that you accept the appeal. But because the appeal was late, Durham County is asking that you dismiss it. And I will give you a timeline of the events that took place prior to them sending in the appeal. And this all came from an audit. The audit was completed March 16, 2020. There was an exit interview notes emailed to Ms. Charles, who is the one appealing the audit discovery. An email was sent back by the auditor to Ms. Charles explaining the audit letter and was explaining the audit letter. So on April the 7th, Email was sent, Ms. Charles explained the audit letter that was never sent out, and that was due to the ransomware, and that the auditor said that he wasn't sure when it would be sent. So on April the 27th, he emailed Ms. Charles to say that the audit letter was dated April 30th, 2020. April 30th, 2020, we mailed the discovery letter to the taxpayer. On July the 9th, 2020, we received an email from Ms. Charles with questions regarding the audit. And the auditor responded the next day. And he says on July 21st, he received another email from Ms. Charles with questions regarding the audit. And he responded to her the same day. Again, on July the 24th, he spoke to Ms. Charles and she informed him that she wanted to appeal the penalty, appeal the audit. That was on July the 24th. We did not receive the appeal form from Ms. Charles until August the 19th, 2020. Mind you, the letter was sent, the discovery letter was sent to her on April 30th, and we did not receive an appeal until about 4 months later. And so therefore we are asking that the value remains the same on the discovery letter and that you dismiss the appeal because of untimeliness of the appeal.
Okay, so are we dealing with a value here or just a penalty, or what are we dealing with?
Well, it's a valuation. It is a valuation appeal. But because of the untimeliness of it, the appeal, we're asking that you dismiss the case. We had to bring it before you. But we ask that you not accept the appeal.
Okay. All right, Ms. Charles, I see you are here. Are you able to speak?
Hi, yes, I'm here. Yeah, so the ransomware issue.
Hold on
I'm
just a second. I need to get you sworn in.
Okay.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Are you okay using the Zoom format that we're using?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Proceed, please.
Hey,
Okay,
David,
yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Smith. I work with Stephanie also, so if you want to swear me in too, in case comments.
Oh, okay. All right. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And what is your all's relationship with Kendra Scott? Are you
We're the agent for Kendra Scott. We're with Ryan.
Okay. I'm sorry. You're what? We're
with Ryan.
You're a law firm.
The tax rep, tax agent.
You're both tax agents.
Yes, we're both of Ryan. Correct.
Well, you really are supposed to have an owner because you don't really have standing to argue about it if you're a tax rep.
We do because we're authorized as to operate on their behalf.
Authorized how?
By Kendra Scott. And we have North Carolina appointment of agent to file the returns, proceed with any appeal hearings.
Starlin, help me out here. Can they represent them if they're not lawyers?
If they have the paperwork on file with the clerk to the board, and we would have to find out from Ms. Purdy had they turned in any POA information, and if they have, we would just need to make sure that it was valid.
So you don't know whether or not they've done that.
Tim, would you be so kind as to look into the file to see if those proper documents are included in that? Or Ms. Purdy, do you know offhand if they were filed?
When the auditor conduct the audit with the agents, we do have to have that POA. So I'm looking at, yes, we do. We have the power of attorney here. I see, I have a copy of it. Power of attorney for Ryan. Yes, we do.
Okay. All right. All right. Proceed, please. Either Ms. Charles or Mr. Grove.
Yes, so we appealed the audit discovery for all of years, tax year 2015, 16, 17, 18, and 19. And I know the audit discovery was picked up for 2015, but in our evidence packet that we provided, there is a specific several assets for a vendor Embry Construction Group that we feel are just general requirements and miscellaneous construction costs that are required by Kinder Scott to occupy their store. And we feel that these don't add any market value and are geared more towards real estate and therefore should not be taxed as personal property.
Okay. Ms. Purdy, what's your response to that?
Well, I did
What do we-
prepare actually to hear evaluation because we did ask that you dismiss this. She did send in some additional information, which was probably late yesterday. I not even had a chance to review it. I do have it on file. So just right off the top of my head, I cannot address those issues. Secondly, I did not do the auditor. We have auditors who conducted the audit, and I cannot address.
So they may have
I could-
a point, but since they filed late, it was too late for you to look at it. Is that correct?
That is correct. She filed late. It was, and we don't review because she did not follow enough general statute.
Okay.
I could jump in. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Sorry, Ms. Purdy. I think, so in addition to what Stephanie was saying about the leasehold improvement items, the initial reason for the appeal and why the auditor was asking the county to reopen the appeal window is that there were some errors that we felt he made. So outside of the leasehold improvement issue, there's some assets that were taxed, let's say for tax year 2015, but they weren't placed in service until later in 2015. So tax year 2016 would have been the first year that would have been taxable, but somehow there's some confusion with the auditor and he actually picked them up a year early. And so when we kind of talked to him about, hey, we think there's some errors there, he said, okay, let me talk to the county. We'll try to reopen the window for you guys and we'll try to work towards an agreement. We haven't been able to get with the auditor and try to resolve those couple issues. We had requested a postponement of this hearing to try to give us a little more time to work with them on it, because I think he would look at that and say, outside of the leasehold issue, at least say, hey, there's an obvious error here. There's no reason that they should be taxed for certain assets if they weren't even on site as of the lien date. So I think that was the auditor's intent, and I think he was asking for the window to be open. So in regards to the late appeal filing, I think it was late. I think part of the ransomware, there's some confusion there. But ultimately, the auditor said he was willing to open it up and discuss it as long as the county was open to it. So outside of the leasehold issue, I feel like there should be, whether or not it was late, I feel like we should do some due diligence and try to at least resolve the errors, the items that shouldn't have been taxed at all. There's really no question about them. I feel like we should be able to open that up. And if we need a postponement of this hearing to try to work with the auditor, like I said, we've been trying to get in touch with them, I think, for a couple of weeks and just haven't been able to get in touch with them. So if we could get a little more time to work with them on it, I think it would benefit everyone, because I think there are items that we could easily agree to. And we can point those out to you today, Ms. Purdy, if we need to.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is you filed late, and so you kind of missed your opportunity for this year. But you can straighten it up for next year.
Our understanding.
Why were you late?
I'm sorry.
Why were you late? Why was it filed late?
Because I think there was some confusion, because there was the initial audit finding, but there was the ransomware, and then it came out later, and then there was a deadline. But I can't say why it was missed, but all I do know is that it was our understanding that the county agreed with the auditor that we would keep it open to try to resolve those errors. It isn't until right now that we're hearing that the county's position is that it was late, and that it shouldn't be heard. It's kind of a surprise this morning, to be honest.
Mr. Smith, if I may say something, it was never told that the county would keep it open because we follow North Carolina General Statute 30 days. That's what we give, and we do not open it up. Now, had she appealed it within 30 days, contacted me, then that would have been a different a path that we would have gone down. But I never heard from your company until August.
Okay.
Okay.
All
And
right.
maybe that was some miscommunication between the auditor and us then.
All right, well, let's move along here. Any comments from the board on this item?
Mr. Chair, this is Wendell. My question was going to be, is there any documentation on record from the auditor to Mr. Grove or Ms. Scott with respect to wanting to that the county would allow this to be open beyond their statement made today? Any documentation support that?
Stephanie, jump in. You had more communication with him than I did. I thought there was an email in which he said he had asked the county to keep it open.
Yes, I'm going to try to find it. We were emailing back and forth, and he did agree that there were some errors and that he would contact Durham County to try to open the audit back up, as he agreed that there were the few errors that should not be taxable for 2015.
Mr. Smith, if I may say something, the timeline that I gave you about the audit came from the auditor, and there was nothing mentioned in there about the county keeping it open.
Okay, all right, well, let's move on with this. What's the feeling of the board regarding this matter?
I'm in favor of upholding the county's position in this.
Okay.
From the testimony I heard.
You're going to make an official motion out of that, David?
Well, well,
Unless somebody else has a comment.
I like to move that we uphold the county's position.
Okay, any other discussion? Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, we're gonna, you need to negotiate with them in the future, but you missed somebody missed the filing deadline, and by a lot, it looks like. So get in touch with them and try to work it out for the future, all right?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to the next one. Andrea Williams. I need to get you sworn in, please. You'll raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. And if you give me just a second, Mr. Smith, I'm trying to get my video started.
Okay.
There we go.
There you are. All right. So state your name and your position with the county, please.
My name is Andrea Williams. I am Business Personal Property Supervisor.
And this is Brett Acoustics. What's going on with them?
So Mr. Anthony has requested a abatement of the late listing penalty for tax years 2014 through 2019 because of death and having to secure a new accountant to reconstruct the income and expense records for each of his tax year returns. The penalties were actually applied to discovery of unlisted business personal property because the taxpayer failed to file listing forms since 2011, his first year of business in Durham County. The first listing we received in our office was on October 7th, 2019, resulting in the business operating in Durham County for 8 years without listing. Staff recommends that the total penalties of $2,509.62 remain on the tax receipts per North Carolina General Statute 105-312.
Did he file in 2019 on his own, or was that discovery also?
He filed on his own.
Okay. All right. And who is that's representing here the Brett Acoustics? Is somebody here with them?
I'm here with Brett Acoustics, and my accountant, Jim Gundersdorf, is here.
Okay. All right. If I can get you both to raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Are you familiar with using this? Are you okay with using this Zoom format that we're doing?
Yeah.
And you are the owners of this Brett Acoustics, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Tell us about this case. Why should we defer this penalty?
Okay, if I could speak to that then. Basically, we started with Mr. Brett in 2011. His first bookkeeper was Leanne Enslin, and she worked with him until 2013, towards the end, and she was replaced by Angie Champion. Unfortunately, she did not really understand the concept of accounting. She was utilizing QuickBooks as a single entry method. So it was not correct. Unfortunately, Angie Champion didn't do much better. And finally, what we went to was in my office, Debbie Nicely actually went back and reconstructed the information. So it wasn't just a matter of he didn't file his property taxes. He wasn't able to file his corporate income taxes in order to have a balance sheet to figure out what he needed to file on his property tax items. So from 2013 to 2017, we basically reconstructed records and got him caught up to that point. We filed the 2014 through 2018 returns. In 2018, he was finally up to date by October of 2000 and I believe 19 for the 18 year. Once we did that, then we advised him that he needed to go back and file of his own accord all of the reports for the property taxes, because those we knew were not done previously, but we didn't want to do them in the middle in case we found more errors and have to go back and amend and that sort of thing, because it was a serious mess. There were other problems along the way. In 2015, part of what slowed us down, he had an employee that actually was killed on site in a workplace accident. The employee, Tony, was out of town. The employee took a saw and did not use the proper washer on it. If anybody knows about any kind of radial arm saws, there is a washer that basically kind of curves around that holds that in place. Also, there's supposed to be a guard on that saw that keeps the blade from coming out. Anyway, the employee didn't do either of those things, and that resulted in the employee's death. So there was an OSHA came in for a period of time, and then it took many months to get things back on track after that, where the business could operate. Additionally, the taxpayer had his own illnesses during this period of time, and his stepfather and his mom were having issues because his father ultimately had surgery between 2017 and 2018 and ultimately died as a result of complications of heart surgery. And then in addition, of course, we're all here with the COVID. So basically the taxpayer is requesting an abatement of the penalties that are involved here, because the taxpayer really is attempting to do what he's supposed to do in life and file things on time. And I believe this year you have the 2020 listing. I guess it's for 2020 or 2021. Yeah, 2020, January. That would have been filed based on the 2019 year. So he is in compliance at this point. And what he's asking for is the opportunity to basically reduce his penalties so that he can stay in compliance.
Ms. Williams, you have anything to add?
No, not at this point, but I do want to confirm that at this point he is in compliance and he filed timely this year.
Okay. All right. Any discussion from the board? We in the past have offered some leniency to items like this, either 50% or 100%. So I'd like to hear some discussion about that.
I would definitely be able to support a 50% reduction or more. I don't know about the rest of you.
What about the rest of you?
I can agree with that.
I would be in agreement.
With 50%, correct? That's what you're saying, Tony?
I would be, I could do 50 or more. I'm
Well,
open.
I would recommend 50.
Okay.
No more than 50, since the board is leaning that way, because I just think that's a whole lot of time.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, and he should have known. I mean, people never do, but theoretically he should know. But you know, you heard all the different things that have happened, and that he did come forward. Anytime somebody comes forward, always makes me feel a lot more lenient to that.
I agree.
So, all right, then I'll
Yeah.
entertain a motion regarding this item.
I move that we reduce the penalties by 50% in this
Do I have
case.
a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, sir. So we've reduced it. We've cut it in half. All right.
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you for being honest and coming forward with it when you did.
Right.
He's trying.
All right.
Who second that?
David.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, our next case isn't until 10:40. But it looks like we have some people here. Is there anybody here for George Johnson or Sharon McShaw? I do see on here, and I'm sorry about your last name. I'll do my best. Vincent Sciatano.
Chicatano.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and hear his case since he's here. I guess we need to get Jamin though. Is Jamin here?
It's Albert.
Oh, is Albert doing it? It says Jamin, but it's Albert.
It's me, yeah, correct.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and proceed with that. Let's see. Albert, let me get you sworn in. If you will raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
State your name and position, please.
My name is Albert Amarte. I'm a Durham County tax appraiser.
All right. And sir, let me get you sworn in too while we're doing this. If you would raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And are you comfortable using this Zoom format for your appeal?
Yes, I am.
And you are the owner of this property on Steinbeck Drive, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, let's start with you, Albert, on this property here. What's the, he asked for a decrease. Do you have some information about it?
Yeah, so we initially have this property value for $519,055. The taxpayer's opinion of the value was $461,500, and I believe that was the amount the property was purchased July 2019. When the taxpayer did file, they had some issue with the fireplace. They said the property, the property didn't have a fireplace, and also we had the square foot about 300 square foot more. So they claim we had it at 29 and a few change. So he said the square foot, I believe, was about 26. But we did, review the property and we made changes to the listing. We actually took the fireplace off and we did bring our square foot to 3540. I actually used LDO to help me get a right square foot. I reviewed it and then we were able to get the value down to $482,944. When we look at the listing of this property, we have the listing right. It's a Cape Cod. It's a B minus. If Tim can pull up, the comps, it's a B plus. The square foot came to 3540. And looking at it, sales price per square foot, we can tell the taxpayers' square foot is lesser than the comps. With that, with that being said, the listing is right, and then the value is pretty much in line with the comps. So I do recommend the board to uphold that value.
So what did you say he paid for it when he bought it?
He paid $461,500. That was in July 2019, if I'm not, mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
By looking at the sales, like per square foot, it looks like he had a good deal, in the house. If you look at the square footage and then the values of the houses, I I believe everything is in line. I don't see any issue with the listing. So I recommend the board upholding our value.
Okay, all right, sir, what's your testimony?
Yeah, my testimony is that, yes, they did make the changes, and that's because the property was not, I guess, had the right information, because they did fix the fact that it did not have a fireplace and the square footage. My issue is when I look at, to me, comps is I'm looking at everything. Steinbeck Drive is basically, those homes have been built with it since 2018, most of them. And there are 50 houses at the time, and I sent in my summary and some detail. There are 50 homes on this block. 48 of them have their assessed value at 90% of the purchase price. Not only was mine, even on the redo, was the 482, it's 110%. At 520, it was like 130%. And I've submitted a summary of every house on this block with similar square footage. And quite honestly, part of the problem is maybe when you put my information in the computer and run it through, it's right from that perspective. But I look at houses on this block, and all that information is public information that you can see. When I look at that information, there are the same houses as mine that paid significantly more. And the price alone is a function of what other upgrades you put in this house. This house, the base price of this house was $374. I added a second floor, which added $40,000 and some minor upgrades. I didn't do all the upgrades that a lot of these comps have in their, in their price. But when you look at the comps and you look at the prices and the assessment, like I said, 90% of the house, or 48 out of the 50 homes in this development are assessed at 90% of the purchase price. And mine is 110% or 110 or maybe 104 now. But it's just a disconnect with everything else in this area. And some of them, like I said, they're the same house. It's exactly the same house, but the upgrades of their houses bring it up to a higher price. But their assessment is so far below what mine is. It's just, I'm having a little trouble trying to understand that. And the other day I sent in 3 other comparable homes that were in this area and showed those houses, which are the same as mine. And I don't know if it's because the square footage in the other homes are wrong, but I paid $460 in July. And I know in the appeal process, I saw some paperwork that said, if you look at, and the house was built in 2020, but it says here, if you believe your property was appraised substantially higher or lower than the price for which it could sold on January 1st. I don't know how that applies on a new property, but the prices of these homes, if everybody else is based on January 2019, the price of these homes was less, and mine is not based off of that. I don't really know what it's based off of, because the purchase price of these homes was a lot less back then. And if that's what the base period is, then that should be taken into consideration.
Okay, all right, Albert, do you have any comment about what he just said?
Yeah. So when we look at the purchase price, like he was talking about in 2018, we can tell this property, which is 11008 Steinberg, was actually 3192 square foot, which is almost about 400 square foot less, and was sold for 527,000. But we now have it assessed, less. And even when you look at 1011 Steinberg, is actually 36 square foot, and and they actually bought it in 2018 for 470,000. So, I don't really understand what he's saying about the value, back then. To me, when I look at the sales price, sales price, like square foot, to me, it looked like he had a good deal on his house, because his sales price per square foot is 130. And when you look at all those other little square foot houses, they are 165, 145, and 156. So I believe his property is pretty much what the value is pretty much accurate with us pretty much making changes to square foot and then the fireplace.
Yeah, so you feel like you already considered the fact that his is not, doesn't have some of the upgrades because it's so much lower.
Correct.
And another thing I see here is the value now is less than 5%, which is within your margin of error. Is that correct?
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Can I comment?
Yes, you may.
I will tell you that 1008 Steinbeck is the exact same house as mine. The square footage is the same. I don't care what it says on the records. This is the same house as mine with a second floor, which means that the only difference between the 461 that I paid and the 527 that they paid is the upgrades that they decided to do in that house. And the reason my price is low is, as I said earlier, I did not do a lot of upgrades in this house. To say I got a good price comparing it to another house that may have gone with a completely different wood floor, crown molding, and all the other stuff does not say that I got a good deal. These were bought from a builder. You don't get a good deal. You get a deal that they have list price, and they may throw in a refrigerator or something else like that. But I can tell you that 1011 is not the same house as mine. It's a smaller home. 1020. Not sure. I don't see that one, but I don't know. I can't speak for 120, but I can tell you that 1008 is the same home. And I didn't get any concessions when I bought this house. I paid whatever the builder's price was at that point, which is probably the same price that the base price that 1008 started at.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get some input here from the board. Any comments from the board members?
Mr. Chair, this is Wendell. And the square footage that Albert has listed, we talking about a difference. They got 3540. So the square footage adjustment actually 3,540 compared to 1,008 of 3,192. I'm trying to make the square foot. Yes. Is the square footage 3,540 square feet?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I want to ask the taxpayer, what type of lot do you have, sir? Did you pay a high lot premium? Because it's different.
No, I did not pay any kind. I think I might have paid an $8,000 lot premium just because it was at the end of the, but I'm not up to a pond. I think the total lot premium was $8,000 that was included in that. I don't know what 520, what the 10,008 was, but I can tell you that it's it has a second floor. And I think sometimes the difference, what I've seen looking at the website with the property taxes, a lot of times the square footage doesn't include a second floor because the second floor was an option in these homes. But I can tell you for sure that 1008 has a second floor and is exactly the same model as mine.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments or questions from the board?
It sounds like the square footage, and if the square footage is correct on the 1005 Steinbeck, then that looks to be a fair value. It sounds like if there is an issue, it would be with 1008, maybe not having correct square footage. Is that?
Well,
I'm sorry.
You go ahead.
Okay. So what happened is, I think we've been fixing a few of the issues of those property during the previous reappraisal. So most of these things do, come to light when taxpayers do, file an appeal, just like when he did. We saw the issue with his square foot, which we fixed. But sometimes, because when we go out there, we pretty much do the measurement from the outside. Sometimes we are not able to tell what's on the second floor unless we go there during new construction and we can get it. But sometimes we don't get it on time when the house is built. And, so most of these issues are being fixed when they do come to light. And I know we fixed a few during the last reappraisal because a lot of people in that neighborhood did file, the appeal, and we fixed those issues. So to me, most of those houses over there, they pretty much look the same in terms of, everything that kind of went in, like the components, and stuff like that. So,
well, I guess
there's
what
nothing-
I'm getting to, it sounds to me, if 1005 is 3540 square feet, then that value rings true with the comps that I've seen. But we're having to deal with 1005 Steinbeck. So, whether or not 1008 Steinbeck is correct or not is a different issue to me.
Right. And it's the same way with the value of the other properties. They don't go by a percentage of what properties, the valuation isn't based on the percentage of what they sold for. It should
Right.
be a unique sale price for each property, what it would sell for now.
I can understand that position, and certainly with a resale, when you have 6 models in this development that are all basically the same except for what you decide to add on to those models. Comps to me are the models that are the same as mine, not comps of other models that are by nature smaller and may have had huge upgrades. My comparison, and I don't mean to address specifically 1008. That's one that you put on there, but there are many. And my model is called the Salinger. It's probably on the second to second most square footage of any of these, and there are many of them in this development. And if there was a way to get the pricing on the comps that are just Salingers, I can't. There's no way that it shows me on the website. But those houses, I can guarantee. I would pretty much guarantee you that 461, what I paid, is the same as those houses with a lot less add-ons in there. So
all right. So we're going to need to move on with this. All right. We understand your point.
Okay.
Are there any other comments for anybody else on the board? Then I will entertain a motion regarding this property.
I move that we uphold the county's position.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Sir, you can appeal this to the state if you're not happy with our result here, but it's within 5% too, which is within the margin of error. That's really what sort of swayed it for me. And he was close, very close. All right. Thank you, sir. All right, moving on to the next one. Let's see. Do we have George Johnson? Okay. What about Sharon McShaw?
Sharon McShaw is not coming in. Robin is going to present the case, and I think Starlin is going to present the taxpayers.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and do Sharon McShaw, and we'll give George Johnson a few more minutes to come in. So, Robin, are you here?
That may be George Johnson. We had a Johnson group just join. He joined. I'm not sure if it's George Johnson.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and do McShaw. Robin, if you'll raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes.
State your name and position, please.
Robin Smith, Durham County Real Property Appraiser.
And Starlin, guess we'll get you sworn in too, since you're going to be doing the property owner. You raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
All right. We'll have to believe your hand because you're frozen again.
I saw that as soon as I went to get back on, it froze, but my hand was raised.
That's all right. Okay, Robin, let's start with you.
Okay. The property is located on Valley Drive. It's in the Horton Hills subdivision off Horton Road. The original value $209,535. Owner's opinion of value $175,000. And the revised value $204,204. And the reason why it was reduced is because the listing was corrected. The owner submitted 3 comps, and those comps are 2-story C average homes. And the tax office submitted 4 comps, and these houses are 2-story C average homes. And recommendation is for the board to uphold the tax office revised value of $204,204.
I'm looking here, the taxpayers' properties are 105, 116, and 195 per square foot. And that's pretty much, it looks like it's pretty much in line with the same ones that you used.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Starling, have you got something you're representing the taxpayer? You got more information?
Well, no, we were just going to make sure that her comps were shown, and you pretty much said whatever we will be saying, because we would just show her information and make sure that her point of view was given. And we did make sure that we looked at her info. So I don't feel there's anything else for us to add with your comment earlier.
Okay. All right. Any questions from the board? Any discussion? Then I will entertain a motion regarding this property number 23.
I make a motion, we uphold the new value of 204,204.
Do I have a second?
Second, Wendell Bullock.
Say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. All right. Let's move on to George Johnson. Is Mr. Johnson present here, or a representative of him? Is that the Johnson, is it Johnson Group? Is that what I'm seeing here? Okay. Well, Robin, let's go ahead and proceed with this one then. Maybe Mr. Johnson will join later.
I had to readmit him.
Okay. All right.
There's George Johnson.
Let's give him a minute to come in then. Make sure he can hear.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. If you would raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
And you are the owner of this property on Old Evergreen, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And are you okay with using this Zoom format for your appeal?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So let's go. Robin, what have you got for us on this one?
Okay, this property is located on 1120 Evergreen Drive. It's located off Danube Lane in the Magnolia Creek subdivision. The owner stated that he would like for his value to be lower than the amount that he paid. The original value was $264,548. The owner's opinion of value, $254,000. He purchased the property on July 19th, 2019 for $269,000. And the sales that we have, the houses are comparable as far as the style, the quality, the average, and recommendation is to uphold the county's tax value of $264,548.
When did you say?
Yeah, his assessed value is actually lower than what he paid for it.
What did he pay for it again?
He paid $269,000 for it.
And that was when?
July 19th, 2019, which is I mean, it's after the January 1st, 2019, but it's lower. It's $264,548.
Okay. All right, sir, what's your testimony? Why should we lower the value of this property?
Well, the value of the property should, based on what I seen in the comps, it wasn't no more than 250. The house is 250. It's just the upgrades in it would, cause it to go up. But in my house, I don't have any of those upgrades.
Okay. Do you have any comparable information from any of the other properties, or you just thinking because of the upgrades, that's the only reason you think we should lower it?
Well, I don't have any comps right now that would suggest 270. I'm actually a realtor as well too. I looked in the area, but I didn't see any comps that, like a lot of the houses, they're not selling for what they're putting it on the market for. So there's a house right by me. They put it on the market for like 260 or 270, but it hasn't sold.
Okay.
Can I
What are
say
these upgrades you're talking about from the other properties that they have that you don't have?
Say that again now.
You said the other properties have upgrades and yours don't. What sort of upgrades are you talking about?
Well, what they don't have, but I know that when I bought the house, we were able to get upgrades like ceiling fan rough-ins and like different stuff like they have that you can pick out while you're there. So I don't know exactly what they have, but I'm just assuming that the reason why their house, the value of their houses are showing up a little higher is because they have them upgrades. I don't have any. Mine's just 250.
Okay. All right.
Can I say that we look
Some of them
at
have basements as well too.
Okay. All right, Ms. Smith, what you have something to add?
Yeah, I was just saying that we look at the outside. We do not look at upgrades in the house. And the house at 1010 Briar Rose, which is the same style, same grade, is sold for $268,000. We have his value at $264,000. So either way you look at it, our value is lower than what he paid for it.
And that house too is a year older than his, right, on Briar Rose. And the difference is less
It's
than
also bigger.
All right, well, let's get any discussion or questions from the board. Then I will entertain a motion regarding item number 22.
I move that we uphold the county's value.
Do I have a second?
Second, Wendell.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. Sir, you can appeal this to the state if you're not satisfied, but usually with something like this, if it's less than 5%, plus we feel pretty confident that the county has got your value, pretty close to your value. But thank you for coming.
All right.
All right. Let's move on to number 25. This is Lawrence Levin, and I think he's here. Been patiently here waiting.
We are here.
Get you to swear in, ma'am. If you would like to speak, you'll need to be sworn in also. So if you raise your right hand, both of you, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And you are the owners of this property on Colbreth Lane, is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
And you're comfortable using this Zoom format?
Yeah, yes, we are.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on here. Then, Albert, you've already been sworn in. So let's start with you. So what are we dealing with on this one?
Oh, should
Albert,
I go ahead?
Yeah, please proceed, Albert.
Yeah, so we had this property, which was initially valued at $354,355. The taxpayer's opinion of this value is $328,000. After extensive review, I came up with a no change to this property value. Taxpayers' reason for appealing is the comps that are used in the same like neighborhood prices don't reflect what we have with his. This house, which the taxpayer owns, was actually purchased in 2017 for $383,500, and we have it valued, currently valued at $354,353. I did pull up some comps in the neighborhood to make sure we had our listing right, which pretty much was right. Looking at the grading, the year built, I put up same houses, that was built the same year. Its square foot was actually lesser than some of them, but we have everything listed right. And then the value of the house, pretty much to me, is consistent to the comps that is being given. We have 1104 Atticus Way, which is about 300 square foot more. That one is valued at $375,000. We have 1680, which is about 300 less, valued at $315. So looking at the sale price per square foot and then the price per square foot of the house, everything we have is in line. And I do uphold the board to I do recommend the board to uphold our value.
Okay, sir, you obviously disagree. Why do you think your value of the property is less?
We submitted comps with our appeal, which you are now looking at. And you can see that these three houses all sold within a 6-week period. They are all basically the same floor plan. They are actually all the same model. They are called Haley's. Ours is the smallest of the three because comp number 1 has a fireplace added for, it has a bay window. Comp number 2 has a sunroom, an enclosed sunroom. So they are larger houses. Again, comp number 1 and comp number 2 both have fireplaces. We do not. The land value of all three homes is approximately the same. And although the houses sold for the same price, our assessed value is approximately $24,000 more than the assessed value on either of the other two homes.
Okay. All right, Albert, do you have any comments on the comparables that he used?
So, like with the comparable that he used, I believe one of it, which was 220357, that one didn't have a screen porch, and pretty much that's what I can say, to that. So definitely that value is less. But again, these are some of the areas that I think we're still pretty much working on, like some of their data. So I did look at that. I could tell with 220359, I mean, pretty much make that difference in the value is a screen porch. It has almost about 160 square foot of screen porch. That is not included. A taxpayer's house has that screen porch included in it. So, like that brings, that difference in value. But that's the only thing I can say about those two comps. But what I also did was I also did pull up comps, that were in the same neighborhood. Some of them were in the same street, and some of them were in, street, like not too far from it. And looking at the many comps, that we have, I do believe our value is pretty much in line because most of our comps do, like reflect the subject being, accurate, because he actually bought it in 2017 for $383,500, and we actually have it now for about $354,353.
Now, Liz comps also are about 2 years old.
Right. And they're all in 2017, correct?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. I saw you raise your hand.
The comp that didn't have the screen porch, which one was that?
I think it was the 2203, like 359, because I put it up in the AS400 and we didn't have a screen porch on it. So we can pretty much pull up, the parcels to see what components are on the house. So what we have is something called schedules of value. So pretty much it takes each component of the house and gives you $1, and it gives you $1 amount of each. So I mean, heated square foot has a, has an amount, porches has an amount, screen porches. So everything has $1 value attached to it. So that's what pretty much brings up, like the difference in the value, when I did look at it.
Okay, however, if I may, if we compare it to comp number 2, just pulling that out, comp number 2 actually has a sunroom. It is not just a screen porch. So it ends up having about 180 square feet more than our house. It is on a larger lot, and yet the assessed value is $22,000 below our assessed value. It's exactly the same model home, the difference being that it has a sunroom instead of a screen porch.
Are you talking about the number 2 that the county?
I'm talking about comp number 2, yes, sir.
That the county used, okay.
But that is, the square foot of that is 1680.
We're not looking at your comps. We are looking at our comps.
You're looking at your comps. Oh, okay.
We are looking at 1339 Pulitzer Lane. That is also a Haley model, exactly the same as ours, on a slightly larger lot, built and sold at the same time with 180 additional square feet with an assessed value $22,000 lower than ours.
No, it's $22,000 higher, sir. It says 383 and yours is 354.
No, sir. Ours is 354. Theirs is assessed at 332. Comp 2.
Oh, you're talking about the assessed, not the sales price. I got you. Yes.
That is correct. The sales prices were identical.
Right. Okay.
So, like I said, one of the parcels, I know why, it's less, but, it was only that. I don't know what the issue is. So pretty much what happened is I had to pull a lot of comps from the neighborhood. And, like majority of the comps do side with our value. So.
And again, we did comps with identical homes, identical floor plans.
Let's get some discussion from the board on this. Any discussion or questions from the board? I think we need some input.
Well, again, if we're looking at, this house, it's hard for us to talk about comp 1 and comp 2 of his. I mean, I understand what he's saying about the tax value, but that's not the properties we're looking at. We're looking at his value. We're in a 5% range. He paid $383,500 in 2017, and I agree with the county's determination.
I'm sort of leaning with you, Jeanette. It's more into it than just the square footage, and I think the county did try to make adjustments, did try to meet it, and like you said, he paid almost $20,000 more in 2017 for the house. I'm leaning with the county.
Okay. Any other discussion? Then I will entertain a motion regarding number 25.
I move that we uphold the county's value.
Do I have a second?
Second. This is Wendell.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. So we do agree with the county, sir, and you can appeal this to the state if you're not satisfied. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to the next one. Is Alicia Grant here? I see an Alicia G.
Find out how to appeal it to the state.
Yes, Miss Grant, or can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Can you turn your video on, please?
I am unable to. It's stuck.
Okay. Well, that's all right. If you will raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or
Certainly.
affirm the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I affirm, and I do.
And are you familiar, or are you okay using this Zoom format for your appeal?
Yes.
And you own this property on Milan Street, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Okay, well, we're gonna, are you doing this, Robin, or is Jamin? I have
Yes.
Jamin on here.
No, I'm presenting.
Okay. All right, well, let's start with you then. Ms. Smith, if you will.
Okay. This property is located on Milan Street off East Gear. It's in the Northeast Hills neighborhood and not Milan Woods. The original value was $178,670. Owner's opinion of value wasn't listed. Revised value $177,242. And the reason it reduced is I corrected the listing. Could you show, okay, you're showing my sales. Okay, the sales are comparable based on, wait a minute, based on the quality grade, well, C average, the style, ranch. The owner had said that her house needed a new roof, which is routine maintenance, and bathroom updates, that's cosmetic. I had called Miss Grant in July to discuss the final review with her, but she wanted to go directly, to the board. So my recommendation is for the board to uphold the revised value of $177,242. And let me talk about her comps as well. I could not consider any of her comps because the sales were in 2019 and 2020, and they were not comparable to the subject. So that's why I couldn't consider any of her sales.
Okay.
I'm done.
All right, Ms. Grant, looks like you're muted. Can we unmute her, please? Ms. Grant, are you muted?
Okay, Can you hear me?
We can. And Tim, do you have her comparables you can pull up?
Yeah, they're downloaded right now, but once they're downloaded, I'll get them up there.
Okay. All right. So you heard the testimony from Ms. Smith, Ms. Grant. So what do you think your property is worth?
Well, I was looking at these comps, two right on the same street that I'm listed on, as one of them being 1706 Milan and one being 1831 Milan Street. One, the 1831 is listed at $171,406. Now, it's not my fault that it couldn't be, she was saying that they didn't have anything recent, I think is what she said, with the comp. So I don't feel that that's my fault. But the ones that I'm looking at, one of them is listed at $172,928, and the other one is listed at $171,406. So I don't understand why they can't be, I know it's not quite that much, but it is much when you look at it, in dollars and cents.
So these are listings you're talking about?
Yes, I have some comps that I'm looking at, 1706 Milan Street and 1831 Milan on the same street.
And when did they sell?
Question. Hey.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, what kind of value does she think the house should, what does she think it should be? She disagreeing with the 177, but what do you think it should be?
I think it should be around like the other two that I'm looking at, 171, 172.
Oh, so you thinking it should be okay?
Yeah, it should be. But I also run a nonprofit out of my home. I don't know if that would help to make to help with the assessment of the taxes. But I do
not unless it's owned by the nonprofit. But if you own it personally, then that doesn't have any impact. Well, you're looking for really a small difference, and it's less than 5%, and that is within the margin of error. And it looks like these are for sale, not ones that have actually closed. Is that correct?
Well, it says, it's a total. I'm looking at it. It says total excess value, is what I see on the top of it. So.
Yeah, I'm just looking at your comparables to see, if it has to be something that's sold before January 1st of 2019, and it can't be a listing. So is that what these are that we're looking at?
Maybe not.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. And again, you're talking about, a $5,000 difference on a $177,000 property. So that's within the margin of error that's allowed. So I don't know what the rest of the board feels like, but let's get some discussion. Is there any questions or discussion from the board? Then I will entertain a motion regarding number 26.
I move that we uphold the county's value.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, it carries. Ma'am, you can appeal this to the state if you're not happy, but it looks like the county's pretty close and we agree with their valuation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Daryl Beasley. Is Daryl Beasley here? All right. Are you doing this one again, Robin, or?
No,
Albert?
it's me.
Albert.
Me. Yeah. So
things are not right on some of these, so not sure what's going on. Okay, all right. So this is Greenview. So what's going on with Greenview?
So our initial value for Greenview is 329,165. The taxpayer opinion of value was 295,000. We did look at it. We had a revised value which took 2,000 off, brought it to 327,806. The taxpayer said if he sold the house, he wouldn't get the amount, like we're talking about. And he also looked at median sale price in 2019. He took, I think, most of the properties in the neighborhood and came up with a median price saying his value should be 269,250, which I did explain to him that, we don't go with averages, So what happened was I did make sure our listing was right. The pretty much the reason why the value dropped was he said a bathroom, we had a half bath, which we did take off, and I think it dropped the value to 327,806. When I pull up comps, every comp we had pretty much was in line. The price per square foot of the subject was 110. The close one was parcel 145153, which when you scroll down, you will see its value is actually less when you compare its square foot and the square foot of 145153. Its square foot is more, but the reason why his value is less is because of the basement. Normally, the dollar amount we have in the basement is not as much as like we have on the first floor or what on the second floor. When pretty much when you look at our sales, our value is in line. So I therefore uphold, I recommend the board to uphold our value because everything with our listing is right, and then the value is in line, like with the comps. So that's what I pretty much came with. And its price per square foot is 110. When you look at the other comps, they are all pretty much high than what we have its value in.
All right. Any comments or questions from the board? And then I will entertain a motion on number 27.
I'll make a motion, we uphold the county's value.
Do I have a
Number
second?
27.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, I guess that does it for us. And we come back again, do it again on Thursday, correct? We still on for that, Starling? Nothing's happened. has
Just
it?
change on, let me determine whether I'm muted or not.
You're not muted.
Okay. Yeah, we have meetings for Thursday. Let's see, where is Sheila? We are scheduled for Thursday, aren't we?
Thursday? No. I'll have to check. What's the date? I'm sorry.
Thursday, 29th.
Yeah, I'm looking on the website here, and it skips from today to the
Yes,
5th.
it's the 5th, November the 5th.
Okay, so we're not.
Okay, so it's next Tuesday, next Thursday.
So we're not meeting the 29th, correct?
Correct.
And we're not meeting the 3rd either.
No, it's next Thursday.
So, okay, so it's a week from Thursday when we meet again. Okay. All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Right. See everybody.
Anything from anybody else?
Thank you.
No.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I did. What happened? Something messed up. I had to ask you.
Oh, you already still there.
Oh, but I wait for everybody to leave and then I get up.
Who's left here? Just us three. Kim, you still there?
I'm here.
And Sheila, stay where you are. Sheila, Kim, you here? You're muted.
Kim.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. All right. Okay. All right. Kim, what did you see?
Oh, nothing. I didn't see anything this time. I just wish they'd stop saying that 5% stuff.
Okay, that's really what I want to say. And what maybe they should just say they have if it's within 5%, they're not making a change, as their rule. So maybe I should talk to them about that. What do you think?
Yeah, but if the taxpayer shows that even though it's within that 5%, if they haven't been treated fairly,
right,
it's inequitable, then the taxpayer should still win. So
okay,
they seem not to be thinking about that. They're just hung up on this 5% rule.
Okay, right. All right, hold on a minute. Yeah, let me answer Andrea here on a separate call. I'll come right back. Hey, hello. Hello.
Y'all are still live.
We're still live.
Yes.
Thank you.